if I was to design something around maybe a marketing communication or a product marketing communication, or anything that has to do with maybe GTM motions, you would definitely have to do some form of strategy. You need to know who your target audiences are. You need to understand what the map archetypes are. You need to know what is actually addressing your tone of voice. Right. So many touch points here and there. So you need to actually have like a proper strategy before you even start taking a visual.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Beard. And as you all know, I have my not so humble but humble co-host with me.
She will have an absolute not I don't like that.
Right.
Yeah, guys. So before we take this forward, we have a very important person with us today, and this person is a juggernaut, right? A big player in the brand industry. Guys, welcome Justice Anaba.
We do go.
Thank you very much. We do go. You were colossal yourself.
Yes, that way. You're looking good.
You're also looking
money.
Not money.
Money.
If I don't see the money, I will fall down Sabi as I will
just get money.
Amen.
Juggernaut.
So we mention names now.
All right.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Yeah. So today we want to talk about branding in the tech industry, design industry. What are those key roles that brand designers play? Because we know that we have a lot of brand designers, right? And then we know that they also have their niche that they focus on. Mm-hmm. For instance, there are some people that focus on motion. Yeah. And some people that focus on identity. Yeah. Right. So my first tip today will be what's the most important? Should it be strategy, right? Or should it be the visual for a particular startup or a company entirely?
Definitely strategy. You can't even start to think about visuals without having to do your own work. Yeah. So strategy actually cuts across different cadences, right, within a brand framework. Okay. And for example, if I was to design something around maybe a marketing communication or a product marketing communication, or anything that has to do with maybe GTM motions, you would definitely have to do some form of strategy. You need to know who your target audiences are. You need to understand what the map archetypes are. You need to know what is actually addressing your tone of voice. Right. So many touch points here and there. So you need to actually have like a proper strategy before you even start taking of visuals. Like visuals is it's not for secondary.
People will just tell you, no particular color, any color. Yeah, people do that. You say,
you don't just start designing straight. And that's true because of people do it. It's when you're not designing, they will not start having strategy, having ideas.
Let's do this.
Actually, after starting iteration, that's the whole. Let's just design something.
That will not tell you, change this, change that. No,
it's not. But it's actually lazy work. That's serious lazy work. It's lazy work.
What is it lazy work? Can you give us like experience?
I don't think I've had an experience with lazy work except some years ago when I was working on a particular campaign, and definitely we did the entire strategy. Like strategy was done, but lazy work in this sense was more about execution.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can actually have a very good strategy, but execution can actually be a problem. It could actually be a problem, and that can actually be as a result of, it could be skill sets or maybe misinformation or or a personnel not really understanding the brief.
That's ties back to strategy. Going at your strategy, all those things played out.
Yeah, but there are certain scenarios whereby if the personnel does not really have, and when I say personnel, I'm talking about the art director or a designer or a brand designer. Yes, so if they are not grounded in understanding what is expected,
master the craft.
they don't actually have like really granular understanding of what is the execution bureau stress. Yes, colossal disaster. So yeah, I've experienced such. Definitely, it's not something you want to even start racking your head about.
Okay, so let me ask this important question: At what point should a startup focus on branding?
From the start,
In the beginning,
it shouldn't even be an afterthought. Like, I know that right now right now a lot of people are getting conversant with the understanding that design quality is required. Before start thinking of product.
Yeah.
And when I say design quality, I'm talking about branding, right? So, it shouldn't be like it shouldn't be an afterthought at all. Like from the start, you need to, because you're thinking about every touch point within the product. How do you want people to perceive your product, right? So every touch point even within your product is a brand moment, right? Your error state, your choice of imagery, your choice of colors, your typography, all those things are still touch points that actually represent brand moments.
But why is it that I would say most product in this part of the world is after they've gained that traction, they start doing brand.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They want to rebrand,
but initially they don't do that. They focus on the product.
Exactly.
They don't focus on brand.
So I feel that a lot of people have gotten away with that in a certain way, but that is really not the standard, right? So, and maybe when they started out, the design was not really that bad.
Yeah.
And the exact wasn't that bad. We're just busy. We're just there. We can just we can manage this.
But when you're not getting that name, did made on that start.
I've seen scenarios whereby some people have actually got away with that sort of. But in this age and time, I don't think anybody would want to take that risk.
You can only come up with something.
And the reason why a lot of founders will not want to take that risk right now is because you have a lot of competitors that are really good out there. So you know that you have to concurrent. Yeah, exactly. So
even regardless, I'm telling you, most people don't participate in branding until after the product is even out safe.
Do you think so?
Like I said, if it was years ago, I would say yes, but
now,
not now. No,
They'll come for you.
No. Like, you know. Don't worry, they'll first, once you release that product, they'll first carry you to Twitter.
A very good example.
They'll dissect your Twitter first.
Nobody.
They'll do your audit. Your audit will be on Twitter. Your product audit will be on Twitter.
You saw that number you said now. And people were like, oh, my coded. Do you get?
God. Oh my God.
So ex-designers are not that patient. They just attack you immediately.
You really should not be out at all, actually. You should just do the work and forget about it.
But can you use as feedback as people actually take feedback from ex for their product or for their branding?
So I think that from a product perspective, I've not really seen any like a product that has really taken. I know that a lot of people would actually listen, like in terms of monitoring how their brands are being perceived online. But I've seen a scenario where and that was when we were actually doing some form of advertising for a brand where there were pushbacks online.
Yeah.
And because they had a monitoring tool, social listening tool, those tools are expensive, right? Or because they had that resource, they were able to track how they are being perceived online, and they could actually take that as a feedback and then correct whatever needs to be corrected. Yeah, but I don't know how many products brands do that, right? Yeah. But I think that most people actually still get their feedbacks maybe Google Store, if your habits,
Reviews.
Yeah.
like some reviews, and some actually
Yeah.
get some of their feedbacks from Google Store, maybe Apple Store.
That's normal. Reviews are that way standard.
I don't understand that actually.
Random
But
person will just dissect your brand.
yeah,
Talk about it. Which can follow with it?
but if they had the actual social monitoring to them, they will have like an extensive idea of what people are really, how people have actually perceived, the product.
Based on your own experience in the industry, right? How do you make a brand identity? How do you make a brand identity need less explanation? Like making it extremely simple.
Okay, so very good. And I think that question actually speaks to trust.
Yeah.
The question I used to ask, I would actually ask some people, is that if your product is no longer seen, maybe it's no longer working, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would people miss about that product? Will it be
fantastic?
Would it be the features, the fantastic features,
Yeah.
or would it be the feeling?
It was interesting.
I don't. Yeah, tell us. So I'm going to give you this answer in a certain way. So from a research, right, that I read, that's from a report, that's Stanford Web, Standard Web credibility report. So they actually said that 75% of users actually judge a brand, the authenticity of a brand via the visual designs. 75%. So now,
yes, I agree.
Now, so that means that if I should see a design, whether it's on product or the commercials or whatever it is, and the first thing that would come at me is this brand really authentic? Do they have the competence? So it depends on what is the niche of exactly.
At first.
Exactly.
Your brand is fine.
Yes, as long as we call out to them and they feel good about it, then
my recent experience was in a mat. I saw one drink. The color was fantastic color.
Especially food, drinks.
I carry out my wife was looking at me like, you want to go?
But you see that visuals that you're seeing.
Yeah, there's that first glass.
So I'm not going to mention any name, but I'm going to say that there was one fantastic fintech brand.
Okay.
Right, Unicorn, and the way I actually onboarded on that, the onboarding experience on that platform was really, for me, it wasn't even about the onboarding experience, but I think it was what made me decide to actually install.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah. Like the experience.
So I saw the ads maybe online, and then for me, and then maybe testimonials and some.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was like, wait, why am I not using this platform? And I was actually in an Uber. I installed it. Well, within 4 minutes, 5 minutes, I already had the account. And that experience was smooth and sweet. And so, again, the question is that, is it about the features, about the feeling?
About the features, about the feeling.
It can be both.
Yeah, it can be both. But I think that at the end of the day, what we need to understand is that, like I rightly said, brand design itself is, when you talk about brand itself, it's not a logo. It's actually about the perception or the feeling of how people have when they've interacted with your products. Or even whether they've interaction with your product doesn't have to mean that they actually use it. It could actually be that they sing song exactly, and it has called out to them. Do you understand? So you can see why brand design is very. So you need to think about. Don't think about how the functionalities are. I'm not saying that functionalities are not great. They're very great.
Sure.
But if you really want to gain that traction and you want to lock them down, then you need to lock down their feelings. You need to understand how they feel.
Okay. So it might be useful, might not be beautiful.
The point here is that just ensure that your product has some form of emotional. So just ensure that your product has some form of emotional resonance with your audience. That's it, pretty much. So You don't want a scenario whereby you can actually design a fantastic product and it does not resonate.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Companies like that too. Like the brand makes sense.
Makes sense.
Everything
Yeah,
makes sense. But when you start in a product,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I expressed more recently.
Mhm.
We cannot measure.
in the future.
And the truth is, and the truth is that the truth is that there's some products that they've done well, as in terms of the entire end to end.
Yeah.
But for me to onboard, I do just feel I'm not excited.
Hmm.
Do you understand? So again, it could even be as little as maybe the color choice. It could even be as little as
The emotion.
yeah, it just feels like the interaction or so. Those little things they really count. They really
Yeah,
count.
but do you think business
really
are
count.
getting it right in these days?
I think some are actually doing great.
Some that pay the attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, most Nigerian founders, some of them just want to just
Also,
start.
it depends on the
You get.
let's say experience or the years of that particular company, because
Mhm.
some people, like I said earlier, is until they get to a certain stage, they'll not start thinking about branding.
Yeah.
They'll wait until maybe they're making more revenue. start coming.
So that means they do not pay
This-
attention.
they- Some people they don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Some don't. Some don't.
Just
actually
finish
do.
that
get it
product,
out, yeah.
product where just neglect branding.
Branding and
Until
start,
you are like afterthoughts.
And it's safe to say that we're not trying to say that money is not good, right? But I mean, no one goes into business without traction, without money. Exactly. But at the same time, I also feel that putting the users in front of everything is really, really, really very important. Very important.
Yeah, just feel
Very, very
parts.
important.
It's just like, you have product designer, PM, engineer, branding should be around, should evolve.
I mean, we
from
know
the start.
yeah, I mean, some of the global brands like Apple stuff, like there are some brands that do not joke with their users.
See that?
Like on a steady, yeah. No, on a steady note, they are not like from the point where they are actually shipping out that product. They're already thinking about how users are actually using that product. I think of how they feel. And when I was watching their last conference last year, you need to see how the entire thought process around the product was still centered on the user experience. Do you understand?
It's
So
a very good
down-
example for me.
and it has to be data driven too.
Down to this, look at this
Yeah,
edge that you're seeing. Now, do you know that this edge that you're seeing, this round edges, is the same thing?
The same thing.
Down to the watch.
Did you find that
Down to the watch.
did you see the concept behind
Down
that
to-
edge between the curve and the edges?
No.
So even the curve on the edges was actually also, I mean, from a product design,
Yeah.
they even replicated that even on the hardwares.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
From the
that
product
sort of
from
detail.
digital product down to the hardware. The
And that's
same
they prepared for it.
radius,
They prepared
size.
Same radius side, the
The
same.
same radius, watch, even the case of the airport, the
Yeah,
same.
they've used it to tell a lot of stories. You see their
That's what we call attention
yeah,
to detail.
exactly.
Very
Exactly.
intentional.
It's a very good one. Another case study, I saw was this 2026 World Cup.
Oh,
You mean the logo?
Yeah,
You know, at first, to be honest with you, I'll be very honest with you, right? At first, when I saw it, I thought about it.
we said it together.
At first, when I saw it, I'll be very frank with you. I did not.
Going through
I wasn't really
brand guide.
wowed, and maybe because they actually used the real hope itself.
yeah.
In the middle, and I was like, why didn't you just make a vector of it or something, right? But okay, so not that time goes on, but another thing that I say, that's another thing, right?
Yeah.
So you actually asked the question about, does your brand have to be explained?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So most times we tend not to see the rationale behind some decisions until we see different expressions or iterations. Then we now start to say, oh, okay, not bad.
At first,
Not bad.
understand it.
But at first, you should understand it, right?
You won't be there to explain it
Exactly.
for people.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are several instances like that. But even till now, I still don't. It's not actually my top 3 What company?
What are you telling us?
No, so I think I loved the one in Korea.
I can't even remember.
I loved the one, and then I loved the one in Qatar. The last one was in Qatar. I loved all the expressions in Qatar. Oh God, I loved South Africa.
It wasn't bad too.
South Africa was not bad, but
So giving the Africa feel, yeah.
I think for me, the two that actually caught out to me is the Korean one and the Qatar.
Correct.
That Qatar one is my number one. That Qatar one was my number one. Even the app. I don't know if you installed the app.
No, I did not.
Oh my God. I installed the app because of...
It's the game.
I actually installed the app just because of... no, it was... The attention detail was mad. It was crazy.
Even down to the scoreboard. That's cool.
Yeah. I loved everything about...
That's the whole attention for...
Anyway, let's see how maybe we'll see more great expressions when the World Cup starts. But
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I can't even wait for it actually. It's June.
The World Cup is
next month.
Yes, that's what. That's what. Yeah, that's why. It's true. That's not small. But almost all the leagues are actually ending this one.
Yes,
yeah. That's true. That's true. Which trophy are you talking about, please? Yes, now.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you do?
We are living our dream. This one, guys. Come on.
I'm not greedy. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you don't get heartbroken.
You don't need to win the million 3 games now.
Well, I'm happy for you guys for the Champions League. I'm happy for you, but let us see how Dembele will take that cup in front of your.
Let's go back. No, I have one important question.
Yeah.
Right. And I would like to just maybe explain to us, based on your experience, like what are those industries that actually pay most attention to their brand?
Okay,
fintech is popular.
Yeah, I don't fintech is already popular. So I think that FMCGs.
True.
FMCG don't joke.
Yeah.
They are very thorough.
Yeah.
They are very, very thorough. Like they're very thorough. Like I mean, no, there are lots of them. They don't joke with it. Yeah. Especially those ones that are even that have like global influence. Yeah. They
like yearly, you see them reeling out designs.
Yeah.
And they even do all these promotions.
So
they do like collaborations with
other. So there was a couple of years ago when I was working on some of those, an FMCG brand, like we had to get their brand book. The brand book was actually coming from, outside the country, and when you saw the venue, you know they get for this. So the brand. The fact was that the FMCG company actually, their mother company is actually
started.
There. So that's the reason why. So when they shared their revised new expressions, my God. And you know what impresses me about some of them is that even when it comes to motion graphics, like they are very, like the way the text is being transition, it has to be like that.
The velocity.
It has to be. It has to be like that. Not that we are using any.
It.
No. It has to be like that. So that's much detail. So yeah, I would say FMCG, fintech.
The fintech is popular. Everybody's.
I don't know if
everybody's buying it.
Everybody's buying it. I don't know if we could. I think oil. I would say oil and gas, but
really,
but some. No, so I would say for oil and gas, right? My experience with some oil and gas brands is that.
I want to finish that now.
So my experience with some oil and gas brands is that sometimes I feel like they have their understanding of what they want, but at the same time, it's not what they should be doing. So this is how, and obviously you are now, with the statement that says customers are always right. So that statement has beaten most of us in every way, meaning that you have to now, you have to bring yourself, and that's the point. Because if they are hiring you as a specialist or as the experienced person, then they should trust the fact that you know what you're doing and whatever suggestions or opinions that you feel that you're bringing to the table. But most times what I realize is that at some instances, the expressions across maybe some touch points, maybe social or out of, they tend to have their own vision as to how they want it, which is actually very good.
Yeah.
However, in trying to give them expressions, it might fall to the cracks. I say, oh no, we don't want this. And and then it now feels like most of the art directions or the design decisions are now being taken by the client. So there are instances like that, right? But there are also some instances where if you do some form of a system, so like a playbook.
Yeah.
So for example, you have some brands that have different pillars. And it's not just, FMCGs are there, OMGs are there, all there. Yeah, so they tend to have events. And events, you could have like several layers of communications. So, and communications can be maybe you have quotes, you have sound bites, you have whatever it is. Now, those sort of scenarios, there ought to be like some form of a playbook so that you're not always going back to the board to always try to redo something fresh.
Yeah.
You already have something that really, like a template. You have something that already works across those sort of cadences. So in this instance, I recall that there was a time that there was so much back and forth in that sort of conversation, like, oh, this is how we are looking at it. Let's do it like this. And even when there was an agreement, or a light agreement that, okay, this is how it's going to be. It's not being followed. So it's not being followed. So you maybe there's another event, you'll now say, no, we want it like this. Why are we putting the logo should be here? So, or make it bigger. You get so make it bigger. Make it bigger. So but the reason why I mentioned that industry is that yes, I know they don't joke with their they have a standard basic brand guideline, but they don't joke with yeah.
So one last question for you, Justice. Let me cast you a bit because I know that he's the top brand designer, but he's also a product designer. Right?
I refuse to be casted here.
So at least for the sake of our audience and people that are also learning from you and in the public, how do you marry both of them?
It's actually a very different word entirely. To be honest with you, it's a very different word entirely. I think that I will use this definition. So generally, like I said before, brand design itself, right? In itself is about perception of your customers or your users. But in the context of tech, like a tech product, brand design will be seen as a sensory channel through which your product communicates its values. Right? And so when I'm talking about communicating its values, I'm speaking to those tone of voice, error state, empty state, or whatever it is, right? And so, like I said before, every touch point in your products is now where you now feel the effect of brand design. So I would say that when I transitioned, I still have one small leg inside advertising because I don't think I can ever leave. I don't think I can ever. I don't see myself leaving that advertisement totally. The reason why is because the level of creativity that you are exposed to,
very true,
and the depth of your thought process. Is you can't compare. You can't compare.
Word.
Oh God.
Okay.
So yeah, to that.
All right. So I think we've come to the end of the session for today. Thank you, Justice.
Yeah. Thanks for having
me. I really appreciate your thoughts. You as a Mama the water wisdom.
Baby.
Just as a deal. So I'm telling you, this man is not
The one from your school, I mean. The one that, the one you facilitated, I mean. You don't even need them now. All those kinds of school, they will come out now, say, make you continue.
I don't know business. Which are the first for school? Trying to find money.
Thanks, Justice. And yes, we hope to have you on the show maybe some other time.
That's fine.
Yeah. And again, thank you to our amazing audience section. And
Thank
don't
you very
forget to
much.
follow us. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you very much.
I like.
Happy.
Share with your family. Anybody. Can you share with me?
Share with your enemies.
I'll share with you. All right, thanks, guys. See you on the next one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.